How's it? Today is Monday, July 29th, and in 8 weeks, I'm going to try to PR again. I guess that means this is the start of an 8-week cycle. So, that is super exciting. Today is some snatch movements, and today was actually really easy. So, last week was a deload, and 2 weeks before that was my all-time best snatch double. I did 100 for one set of two. I also did them for a bunch of sets of one. And I talked with my coach today about what I would be doing moving forward, with the idea that I would be able to snatch 115 by the end of summer. So when is the end of summer? Is it the end of August? Is it the end of September? It's neither here nor there. There is a calendar date that is technically the end of the summer, but whatever. In 8 weeks, I'm going to try to PR at the end of this cycle. He's basically is setting me up so that I can do maybe 102 or 103 for a few sets of two. And I am really, really excited for that. That would probably put me in territory for 115 snatch, like for a single, which would be huge. Huge. So, yeah, today started off with some snatch, push, press, plus overhead squat. Nothing super spectacular, nothing super heavy. Just go up to one set of 2 plus 1 at 95. This feels really easy. Sometimes my overhead stability is not the greatest because of my left elbow, but today it didn't feel like it was hindering me too much. I did feel like my right shoulder was a little bit tight and my upper back was kind of wonky, but it does feel better than it did on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So that is a huge step in the right direction. But for snatches, Steve said pretty clearly to do 5 doubles at 85. That's all I was doing today. And I think for the overhead movement at the beginning, he was saying like, do between 90 and 95. You can do 1 or 2. If you're not satisfied with the 1, then do 2. And yeah, so I was satisfied with 1, so I just moved on. But he said for the snatches to do very specifically 5 doubles at 85. In the coming weeks, we're gonna do. This week is 85. Next week will be 90. The next week after that will be 95, and from there, we're probably gonna take 2 kilo jumps. Not super sure, but in the spirit of keeping things in an 8-week program, if I take 2 big jumps at the beginning, then things will be very heavy very quickly, and that will be a bad time. So try to do things that I know I'm capable of doing. 95 for 2 is not super hard. I think I've done 95 for 3 in the past, so doing it for 2 should be fairly simple, assuming I lift the way that I did today. I feel like today was really good. I was just trying my best to squeeze my upper back and kind of depress my shoulder blades just the way that I was doing last week, especially on Wednesday for my pulls. I feel like that was helping me tremendously on Friday for my snatches. I know I wasn't lifting super heavy on Friday, but I did do 5 singles at 90. Did 1 at single 85 and did a bunch of powers at 80. So like I did a bunch. I did a bunch of reps, and like to kind of put into perspective, like today I did 10 doubles. So that's like, a little bit more reps than I did at on Friday, but I feel like today was a lot more intentional. I feel like I was a little bit more practiced with what I was trying to do, and there were certain reps that were definitely better than others. I feel like there was a set, I don't know if it's the 3rd or 4th set, but the first rep was very, very, very good as far as speed goes and getting under the bar and getting my elbows to lock. And that is the kind of way I want it to look, moving forward. But the second rep that I did was very sluggish. And it felt like I was kind of just allowing the bar to get into a spot and then slowly getting under the bar. I think it was the 3rd or 4th set. I don't remember quite specifically. Also that right there in the second rep there, I don't really lose the bar behind. I don't usually get tipped backward like that. And that is just a really simple fix for me, but like that is really scary. That's kind of the way I hurt my elbow in 2015. Is it? I guess it was 2015, like 9 years ago. And yeah, that's actually a really long time ago. It was not this third set that I was talking about. I think it's this one here, this fourth one. It might have been the fifth one, but I don't remember perfectly. But like I feel like a lot of my technique today was what I was working on was a success. You know, the start position was a lot more important to me than the rest of the lift. So if you're looking at this here, yeah, it was definitely this one. So that's kind of point of extension to locking my elbows and point of fixation overhead was hit much sooner. If you had paused the video and on that lift, there's a point where my arms are locked and I'm above parallel. And it's not that I'm trying to do a power snatch, but it is that I am trying my best to lock my elbows essentially as soon as possible. And then on that second rep, it felt like when I'm moving down, I'm also locking my elbows at the same time. Like more of a, this needs to happen while this other thing happens. Whereas the first time, that first rep was more like independent of my speed under the bar, my elbows were locking, if that makes sense. But yeah, that makes sense to me. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense to you. But after that, I did my snatch pulls here at 95. I believe the note says that it's supposed to be like 110% of whatever I snatch. But because I did 95 for my overhead movement at the beginning, I'm just going to do the pulls at 95 too. Because at the end of the day, like, I'm trying to snatch, you know, something in the realm of like 115. And so like if I have to put it overhead for my overhead warm up at the beginning at the same weight that I'm pulling at the end, like that makes sense to me. You know, ideally I would be strong on both sides, but if I end up pushing too hard on one thing and then not having the requisite strength on another thing, then things are going to be bad. It's going to fall apart very quickly. But yeah, that concludes really the lifting portion of today. I did some pull-ups and then some pal-off presses as normal on the Mondays. I'm super excited for what's happening next in my programming, but also things are kind of looking up in my life, so that is a very big positive. Yeah, I don't know. If you're watching this, you know who you are. But yeah, looking forward to, you know, another snatch at 110, maybe 112, and then maybe 115, maybe do it all in the same day. I have no idea. But in 8 weeks, that is ideally what's going to happen if everything goes to plan. So, yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Shoots.